It's about 2.5 years to the 2027 general elections, and this is despite the fact that the IEBC is yet to be constituted. In between, there's supposed to be a boundaries review spearheaded by the IEBC commissioners. There's also supposed to be 6 pending by-elections to be conducted, some of them being parliamentary, others for MCAs. We are supposed to prepare for the 2027 general election, and at the same time, there are Kenyans who are yearning to recall their members of parliament. The big question is, why isn't the IEBC reconstituted? We shall be delving into this conversation tonight. Augustus Muli of the National Liberal Party, who is a party leader there, was actually nominated by Azimio to represent them in the IEBC selection panel, only for the Azimio coalition to have doubts about him and replace him with Dr. Kokimuli of Wiper Party. That is a conversation will be happening later tonight on our interview tonight on Prime Edition. Welcome to this broadcast. Here are tonight's highlights.
Sisi kama wazazi tunaweza lipa nusu kama installment hivi mara 2 au mara 3 kwa term. But sasa kama tumelipa pesa kidogo, hata ukilipa 20,000 mtoto haruhusiwi kuingia kwenye darasa, hata gate yenyewe huwezi funguliwa.
Our daughters are not safe in your hands. Parents at St. Anne's Girls' School call for the resignation of the principal for allegedly locking out students at night over school fees. A belated Christmas gift. The government releases 3.5 billion shillings for the Inua Jamii cash program to benefit close to 2 million elderly persons. And the whereabouts of Steve Mbisi remain unknown 2 weeks after his abduction, as police boss Douglas Kanja ignores court summons over the matter. Welcome to this broadcast. My name is John Jacob Kioria. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Mwea. To start us off, the whereabouts of Steve Mbisi, who was reportedly abducted in Mlolongo, Machakos County, remains unknown nearly 3 weeks after his disappearance. His sister testified before Justice Bahati Mwea, who is presiding over a case involving the alleged abduction of several young Kenyans. At the same time, Justice Mwea issued a final warning to Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, ordering his appearance in court on January 27th to provide clarity on the case. The warning follows the IG's failure to attend the court summons for the second time, with his lawyer citing a security meeting as the reason for the absence.
At Milimani Law Courts in Nairobi, the case on alleged abductions continued, but for the second time in a row, Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, who was expected to appear in person to explain the circumstances surrounding the disappearances, failed to show up.
My apologies, I saw you somewhere.
This prompted Justice Bahati Mwea to issue a stern warning.
Ordinarily, when I issue my orders and they're not complied with, it's a very straightforward, very simple way. The only 3 things I do.
However, Kanja's lawyer Paul Nyamodi told the court that the IG was attending to an urgent security matter and could not attend.
Why isn't the IG here to say that?
My Lord, the IG is not here this morning. And the DCI is also not here this morning.
The petitioners, however, argued that the IG was in contempt of court and demanded action. These were supported by interested parties in the case, including lawyers Martha Karua, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Eugene Wamalwa.
There are only 3 ways of handling an order of the court. One is to obey it, the other is to comply with it, and the last is to adhere strictly to its terms. No other available option.
To request to try and persuade this court that there's a mercenary formation that's abducting Kenyans.
Yes.
Is tantamount to claiming that Kenya is a failed state, which I reject.
Those people seem to know who is abducting who. Some are alleging that citizens are stupid enough to abduct themselves. Surely, the Kenyans are wiser than what we are hearing.
So production is just a first step. It does not exhaust the writ. And once the court deals with the disobedience of the clear orders for the officers who control the state organs of security, then the inquiry will begin. So we are very far from exhausting the application.
Justice Mwea made it clear that he will no longer tolerate excuses and ordered the IG to attend the next hearing on January 27th or face sanctions.
The Inspector General of Police misses on that third hearing date. I will go with option 1. I will cite, convict, and sentence on the spot. With respect to the Director, DCI, I will convict.
Additionally, the court gave the green light for the Directorate of Criminal Investigations to record statements from the abductees to aid in the investigation, following a request by the police to be allowed 14 days to probe the matter. In a separate incident, lawyer Denson Omari, representing Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, found himself in trouble.
I've asked you to leave for the purposes of today. Leave the court. No.
As Justice Mwea ordered him to leave the court due to misconduct. Omari was, however, later allowed to return.
We were classmates. We were in fact desk mates somewhere else. So it's not personal.
Meanwhile, the family of Steve Mbisi, who was abducted on December 17th last year, told the judge that they still don't know his whereabouts.
He's still missing. We've reported to so many police stations, and we are hoping and we pray that we'll know where he's being kept.
We are missing a leader. It's called Yusuf Hussein. Kuanzia 30th September up to now. We don't have any information kutoka serikali. Atuachilie our leader Yusuf Hussein Ahmed, MCA, Wajir County, Anole, Delaware.
Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja must attend the court proceedings on 27 January 2025, failure to which Justice Bahati Mwea has said he'll be forced to convict him on the spot for contempt of court. Give us Minor, Prime Edition at the Milimani Law Courts, Nairobi.
Away from the corridors of justice, the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, has urged Kenyans to register under the Taifa Care and include their dependents. The DP, who toured Kenyatta National Hospital, said the government has listened to the public and is working towards addressing the bottlenecks in the implementation of Taifa Care. The DP also disclosed that the East Africa Kidney Institute stationed at the KNH is almost complete and will be commissioned in the next few weeks.
Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki spent the better part of Wednesday at the Kenyatta National Hospital assessing the impact of Taifa Care on patients and health workers. While acknowledging teething challenges over 3 months since Kenya transitioned to SHA, the DP maintained that more patients have benefited.
Taifa Care offers a better package, especially for post-transplant treatment cases. The national government will work in collaboration with county governments to address those bottlenecks around, especially referrals in level 2 and 3 hospitals, and also around diagnostic capacity of those lower level hospitals.
Kindiki expressed confidence that this time round, Kenya will get it right and achieve universal health coverage.
We are very sure that Taifa Care will work. Universal health care for everyone will work this time round. And I want to assure the people of Kenya that we will continue with this exercise of impact assessment, impact monitoring, not just at KNH. We may have started at KNH today, but we are going to other points of service delivery, level 4 hospitals, level 3 hospitals, level 2 hospitals.
So far, 17 million Kenyans have registered under SHA. Out of this number, only 3.5 million dependents have been registered.
The numbers are picking up, but they are not good enough. We want to urge every citizen of Kenya to register under the Social Health Authority so that they can be beneficiaries of Taifa Care.
The DP also toured the East Africa Kidney Institute stationed at the facility, which he says is nearing completion and will be in use by the end of March 2025. The institute will, among other things, offer dialysis and kidney transplant services to Kenyans and patients from other countries.
So it's going to be a one-stop shop for all renal treatment-related healthcare services. And in a few weeks' time, it will be commissioned.
Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
Let's turn our attention now to some sad story that emerged last night. A section of parents of learners at St. Anne's Girls' School in Makadara, Nairobi County, are now demanding the immediate resignation of a school's head teacher after several students were left stranded outside the school's gate Tuesday night. Area leaders, together with human rights activists, have also joined the parents in demanding that the principal be held accountable for the incident.
A day after this video circulated on social media allegedly capturing stranded students camping outside St. Anne's Girls Secondary School, a section of parents are now placing the blame on the school's principal, Veronica Muli.
Madam angeadmit watoto because it was late, therefore kesho communicate wazazi ya kwamba wenye wamesend watoto na bado wako na arrears, they should plan on how to pick their children, their students tomorrow.
The parents claim the school principal disregarded the Ministry of Education's directive to the principals not to send students home over school fees arrears.
Sisi kama wazazi tunaweza lipa nusu kama installments hivi mara 2 au mara 3 kwa term. But sasa kama tumelipa pesa kidogo, hata ukilipa 20,000 mtoto haruhusiwi kuingia kwenye darasa, hata gate yenyewe huwezi funguliwa.
Our efforts to reach out to the principal, who is also accused by the parents of high-handedness, were fruitless as she declined to address the media.
Huyu principal wa St. Anne's ametudhulumu karibu miaka 4 na tumeenda kwa hii kitu hii si mara ya kwanza, imefanyika mara kadha wa kadha.
Sometimes you have an issue, maybe you want to discuss academic progress ya mtoto yako. You can't get that chance.
Tulikuwa na jambo kama hii mwaka jana na tukakuja hapa. So kama wizara wangemtransfer principal, wamtoe, wamlete mwingine ndio tuone shule ikiendelea, kwa sababu si yeye peke yake anafaa kwa principal hapa.
Meanwhile, parents stormed Amariba Mixed Secondary School in Kisii Central Sub-County, demanding for an overhaul of the school's management. Among their grievances included the decline in enrollment from 700 to about 200 students. They also accused the school's principal, Inua Jamii, of ignoring their concerns.
Mtoto akikuja, mwalimu anafukuza watoto mpaka hata watoto wameisha shule. Ndio tunauliza, hata ukiwa manager mahali fulani, umesimamia watu 200 na umefuta hao watu, utakuwa manager gani? Utasimamia nani?
Sasa watoto wameteseka njaa, wameteseka kabisa, hata saa hii wachakula kitu, hakuna chakula kwa sito hata kidogo.
Joseph Wahungu for Prime Edition.
Still on education matters, a section of education stakeholders has raised concern on the government's level of preparedness to ensure the transition to grade 9 is seamless. The group claims that many schools have not been able to build required classrooms, raising fears that learning for grade 9 students will be derailed.
Day 3 of learning for grade 9 students countrywide. Despite the government assurance of 100% transition, the situation on the ground is different. Education stakeholders revealed that a number of schools do not have enough classrooms and qualified teachers.
I request the government to see how they can mobilize enough resources to help these public schools, because all those ones are Kenyans and they deserve good education.
Machakos Alibert Junior School Principal James Kamuya is now calling on the national government through the Ministry of Education to channel more funds towards the construction of classrooms as well as equipping teachers.
There are some language teachers who are now expected to teach science in public schools. And I believe teachers have raised this concern. In future, as they do recruitment, let them put that one into consideration.
Elsewhere, Tomboya Comprehensive School head teacher Fuad Ali has lauded the government for smooth transition of students to grade 9 in his school. Fuad reiterated that the school was a beneficiary of 2 new classrooms built by the Mvita National Government Constituency Development Fund.
Kuanzia tufungue shule Jumatatu, madarasa yetu yalikuwa yamekamilika. Tuko na madarasa mawili ambayo tulijengewa kwa ufadhili wa CDF ya Mvita. Madawati vile vile 120 yaliletwa, ambapo sasa wanafunzi wetu wote wanakalia madawati mapya.
Meanwhile, Parents Teachers Association in Tigoni School have joined hands with the national government to build more classes for the grade 9 students so as to cater for the swelling number of learners in the school.
We were given 5 million for 5 classes. And I can say so far what you can see here in our school, we were able within the last 2 to 3 months to construct our classrooms.
Those resources that we could have used to go towards food and all that can be channeled now to education programs so that the learners can get quality education. And we know that for the students in school, we can now retain them in a better way.
Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
Some sad story here. Angry residents of Mahigaini and Goshua villages in Mwea East Sub-County, Kirinyaga, took matters into their own hands, storming the houses of 2 men accused of murdering 16-year-old Purity McKenna. The girl's body was discovered near Dhiba River in Mwea West Sub-County on Christmas Eve, sparking outrage. The irate villagers dumped the deceased's body at the doorstep of one of the suspects' homes, accusing them of a crime. Police officers from Wanguru Police Station and Assistant Chief George Mungai lobbed tear gas to disperse the crowd, who left a trail of destruction in their wake, damaging the suspect's property.
Namwambia namuomba kitu moja, hii familia kama vile watu wa kijiji mnaomba, tutafanya hivyo. Simnataka fanya kitendo, wote waende. Tunasema Kemonye na mamake na familia yake wote waende.
The government has disbursed more than 3.5 billion shillings for payments to beneficiaries of the Inua Jamii program, targeting at least 1,758,735 Kenyans. Each beneficiary of the program is set to receive 2,000 shillings to cover the December 2024 payment cycle. The Ministry of Labour and Social Protection has at the same time announced the introduction of M-Pesa through the eCitizen platform as a new payment method for the program in a bid to streamline service delivery, particularly for beneficiaries in remote areas.
Beneficiaries of the Inua Jamii program can now breathe a sigh of relief after the government announced the disbursement of 3,517,470,000 shillings for their December 2024 stipends. In a statement on Wednesday, the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection noted the funds are set to benefit at least 1,758,735 Kenyans enrolled in the program, with each receiving 2,000 shillings, covering the December 2024 cycle. In addition, the ministry has announced the piloting of a new payment solution using M-Pesa through the eCitizen platform. The pilot program is currently being implemented in various regions, including Murang'a and Marsabit counties. All beneficiaries of the program across the country will receive their payments exclusively through the M-Pesa channel, effective from the January 2025 cycle. However, for the December 2024 payments, beneficiaries in counties outside the pilot program will continue accessing their stipends through the 6 contracted commercial banks. John Kahiro, Prime Edition.
That report by John Kahiro takes us to a very fast breather right here on Prime Edition. But just a reminder that later on we shall be having a conversation regarding the reconstitution of the IEBC and why it is still contested 2.5 years to the election. Augustus Chalomuli, the party leader of the National Liberal Party, is here with us. And of course, the dispute that has prevented the reconstitution pits him and the Wiper Party, particularly Dr. Kokimuli. Don't go too far.
Christmas ni sahi ishafika na ni kubwa kubwa. Kweli? Hii Kisii ni bomba na Blue Santa kupitia star 570 hash option 1. Rudia. Star 570 hash option 1. Iko PlayStation 5 na 55 inch TV na iko 500,000 Kenyan shillings. Na mbuzi moja? Na mbuzi. 1 million Kenyan shillings na Samsung S24 Ultra. Na mbuzi moja? Iko 2 million Kenyan shillings na iPhone 16 Pro Max. Na mbuzi mbili. Blue Santa amekuja na zawadi kibao na ni kubwa kubwa. Hapa kuna ndogo ndogo. Hapa Christmas ni bomba.
We shall be telling you about what is the latest in the cinemas and theatre segment a little bit later. But for now, it's only fair that we dwell into the conversation of the IEBC reconstitution. Augustus Muli, probably to so many people, I'm sure you've heard this name now for quite some time, because the debate around the reconstitution of the IEBC now has existed for some time, but it became even more wild about a month ago as Kenyans continued to press President William Ruto to ensure that the IEBC is reconstituted. And two names have figured, or rather have featured in this conversation: Augustus Muli and Dr. Koki Muli. They actually say almost the same name. But I have Augustus Muli here because this is the person who was nominated by the Azimio Party as a member of the IEBC selection panel. You're very much welcome.
Thank you very much.
This is a very sensitive matter, as you would imagine, the reconstitution of the IEBC in itself.
Yes.
Listening to a section of a political class in the country, they say you are to blame for why we have not reconstituted the IEBC. Are you to blame?
I am not to blame.
Okay.
I am completely blameless in this. And I want to clarify something you said.
Yes.
I was not nominated by Azimio.
You are elected.
I was elected.
Okay.
Now, let me take you back to how this came about.
Yes.
Remember, before NADCO talks, we had a selection panel, which was now finished, which was dissolved. Now, and NADCO talks gave birth to the IEBC 2024 Amendment Bill.
Yes.
Now, which expanded that selection panel. It created 2 extra spaces, 2 extra slots. Now, these slots were given to what we call Political Parties Liaison Committee, PPLC.
Yes.
Now, on the 23rd of July, the Registrar of Political Parties, the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, issued a letter to the Political Parties Liaison Committee, which consists of 90 political parties in this country, all the registered parties. Now, that letter said that there will be an election from the PPLC to give 3 slots. Initially, there was 1 slot. Now, the NADCO talks and the IEBC 2024 Amendment Bill added 2 more slots. So PPLC had 3 slots. So the letter from the ORPP said, we are going to have elections for the 3 slots. Now, those 3 slots would be divided as such. Number 1, a nominee from non-parliamentary political parties. 1. 2, a nominee from the majority coalition. In this case, Kenya Kwanza. Number 3, a nominee from minority coalition, which is Azimio. That election, for that election, each section had to send in the applications. So the ORPP conducted a nomination exercise, a vetting exercise. We sent in our names to be vetted according to those 3 categories that I've given. The non-parliamentary cluster sent in their nominees for vetting. Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. In Azimio, we were vetted, 2 of us.
You and Koki?
Augustus Muli and Koki Muli. 2 of us. We were vetted by the registrar of political parties. A whole panel vetted the 2 of us, looking at all the criteria that they wanted. And the criteria was very simple. They wanted a copy of Kenyan ID or passport, copy of your degree certificate, and a declaration from form for chapter 6, and duly filled nomination form.
We need to move this forward. Truth is, when the election came, you were elected.
So the election was held on 26th of July,
yes,
and I was elected. I was issued a certificate. I'm the only one who has this certificate from the Political Parties Liaison Committee, PPLC, from the IEBC, who oversaw the election, and from the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, which is now the overseer of the PPLC. It knows which person is supposed to vie under which category. So I vied under minority coalition, and 16 parties elected me.
Against Koki's?
Against Koki's 7, who were 23 parties.
Yes.
And that's the end of it.
And that's the end of it.
That's the end of it.
And I want us to talk about this because at some point then, after you have been validly declared as the elected person, Azimio through Junet Mohammed writes to PPLC and indeed the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, and the question is on gender balance. When they realize that the persons that have been submitted to PPLC or the PPLC list does not meet the gender requirements.
But that was very mischievous. There were only 3 men who were selected. Kenya Kwanza chose a man, Azimio chose a man, and non-parliamentary chose a man. 3 men. So why should you only choose one section to go and say, oh now so we need a woman from this? If that was the case, they should have cancelled the entire election, and PPLC asked to do a fresh election.
And now, this did not happen.
This could not happen because we had clear guidelines from the Parliament. And Parliament, in issuing instructions, they said we do a competitive exercise. Now, when you ask people to vote, you must expect them to vote either men or women. In this case, they vote men. It's only in a nomination where now you can say, no, we're only going to reserve this slot for a woman. Yes, yes. But the requirements were that this process must be transparent and competitive.
You tried using the internal dispute resolution mechanism that didn't work. Then you went to the political parties.
It worked.
It worked. How did it work?
It worked in that we wrote to Azimio when they removed my name. And we told them, you cannot do that. You cannot transfer a win. Augustus Muli has won simply because he's a man and you want a woman, you cannot transfer that. It's like me now, I win and I say, no, I don't want to go to Parliament. I'll instead send my wife. It cannot happen. You cannot transfer a win. So that's what Azimio was trying to do.
So how did it rule in the internal dispute resolution mechanism?
We went to PPD, to the political parties dispute.
That is after you had exhausted the IDRM.
Yes, we wrote to them.
And it did not work.
They did not want to listen to us.
Okay.
They did not want, the Azimio people did not want to listen to us. They did not want to listen. And it's only a few, I can say it's only a few elements in Azimio.
We'll talk about the elements. But first of all, let's deal with the legal process.
The legal process.
So you went to the political parties disputes tribunal.
And it clearly stated.
And ruled in your favor.
It said that Muli won in a free and fair election. It was supposed to be an election, and election was conducted free and fair, and Augustus Muli won. Give him his position. Then
this matter became a subject in the court of law from the political parties disputes tribunal. While they agreed with you on several issues, one matter came out clearly. That Azimio was not a parliamentary party. So the National Liberal Party that you lead is not a parliamentary party. It's not recognized as a parliamentary party. Neither is Azimio recognized as a parliamentary party. So your election became moot according to the judge.
According to the judge, and which is now subject to an appeal. That interpretation is just out of this world. We have appealed against it, and we're waiting for that. But the requirements were very clear. We were to go in as Azimio or Kenya Kwanza or a category for non-parliamentary. And the only person, the only body or organ that was going to decide where you're going to be, where you're going to vie, is the registrar of political parties, who is the custodian of all the information.
Who recognizes Azimio as a party?
A party, yes. So we are not going there as National Liberal Party. We are going there as Azimio cluster. And Azimio is a parliamentary party. They are members of parliament within Azimio. So we were equal. We were fine to be there. That's what the registrar said. So we went for a fair election in the right way, and we won.
Tell me something.
Yes.
Because there have been accusations that Dr. Koki Muli, particularly in this suit,
yes,
comes in as a Johnny come late, or a person who was really not interested. Was that your view by the time you were taking this matter to the political parties dispute tribunal?
No. She actively took part in an election. She was nominated by her own party, the Wiper Party. She went through the nomination process through the party. I went through my nomination process through my party. We met for an election.
I'm saying her becoming a petitioner in this matter.
Yes, that you know, in this country you are allowed to, you know, to present anything to the court. So she went and said that she was mentioned in the PPDT and she needed to be enjoined, and so she went ahead.
At the heart of this matter,
yes,
Augustus, is your branding by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka as a stooge of President William Ruto, who intends to achieve certain means by the end of the IEBC selection process. Are you President Ruto's stooge?
I am not. And I find this very mischievous of the Wiper Party leader to say. Because he presented a candidate, and that candidate was rejected by a majority of Azimio. Simply because he's a leader, a main leader in Azimio, does not make him have complete say and say, no, I didn't want Augustus Muli, I wanted Koki Muli, which is exactly what's happening. And then finding all sorts of excuses. Oh, this person, how can he come and defeat me? He must be supported by, he must be a proxy of the government. How mischievous.
I want to understand something, because this argument is quite an interesting one.
Yes.
At the initial stages, what is being advanced is that it is a gender issue. That is why your name needs to be removed.
No.
I'm saying that is that's the argument Azimio made when they wrote to the Parliamentary Service Commission, right?
Yes.
That it was because of gender that your name was being removed.
Yes.
I also want to understand where this argument of you being President Ruto's stooge comes from.
Can you imagine? This is all mischievous. When the issue of gender came in, that's why they objected in the first place. It was, these are seasoned politicians. There is no way you can transfer a win, an election win. I won in an election. You can't just say because this is a woman, no, we need to transfer that win. If they didn't want me there, they would have immediately appealed against that election. Up to now, nobody has challenged this election. And even the High Court said that I won fairly. You know, free and fair. They agree.
Only its interpretation
on that they interpreted that.
There is also the small fact, about the transpirations that have happened now in Azimio, because it keeps evolving into something else.
Yes.
Now ODM doesn't look like it's very interested in being in Azimio.
Correct.
Which reminds me that this letter was written by Junet Mohammed, who was the Secretary General of the Azimio outfit. So how is this dispute transpiring now? Because Kalonzo Musyoka appears to be, leading the Azimio outfit family.
Yes.
But the person who wrote this letter appears to be diverting away from the Azimio coalition. So do you still believe that you represent Azimio interests?
Now, let me clarify that.
Yes.
I represent political parties liaison committee.
From the minority party?
From the minority, yes. It doesn't matter whether part of the minority is in government or part of the minority is in opposition. I represent that minority coalition. Finished. It should be as simple as that. And in fact, the people I report to will not actually be Azimio at first. I'll first report to the political party, the PPLC. So the issues that are in Azimio have got nothing to do with this position. Azimio should remain, with its part half in the government, half in opposition, It remain like that. It's politics. But let politics...
So you acknowledge part of Azimio is in government?
Of course it is.
So when you're called President Ruto's stooge...
Yeah. That's very interesting, actually. Is that very interesting when Raila, who's the leader of Azimio, is in government?
Couldn't that be said then?
Yes.
That you represent the part of Azimio that is in government?
Now, if he had said that, then that would make sense. If he said that I represent the part...
Which then would make you close or having, seem to be seen as representing probably the interests of the Kenya Kwanza
No, I would still be in Azimio. I would still be in Azimio. When I was elected, there was no divide. There was no such divide.
Yeah.
When I was being elected, actually, there was no such divide. And I'm sure if that divide was there that time, I would be branded differently.
Okay. I want you to elaborate. You've said Kalonzo's argument that your President Ruto's stooge is mischievous.
Completely.
Why do you say so?
Because when I won, Azimio was solid at that time. There was no division at that time. We were all clearly in opposition. The reason why these 16 parties voted for me is because they felt that I represent their interests more than the other candidates.
So do you believe Kalonzo has an interest in this matter?
Of course he has an interest. And that's why he's pushing so much. He has clearly stated that he is a presidential candidate in 2027 and he wants people who are favorable to him. He wants the person who is in my place to be able to choose commissioners favorable to him. And that's why I've stood my ground. That's why I've said I am there to represent Azimio and to represent 16 political parties and the rest of Azimio, not an individual.
All right. We need to put a close to this matter in less than a minute.
Yes.
Question is, what is the way forward now? Because we don't have a panel. This is a very sensitive matter. 2.5 years to the election, there is not even boundary review. So what is the way forward? Are you insisting that unless you're in the panel, we cannot form IEBC?
No. We have sat and discussed, and the matter is actually very, very simple. This matter, John, I'm assuring, can end tomorrow. Not even after 2-3 weeks or a month. It can end tomorrow. With Wiper acknowledging that Augustus Muli won in a free and fair election. That only. And just removing their candidate who lost. Tomorrow, my name can be forwarded. We can have an IBC selection panel. We can start the process of choosing commissioners.
Okay.
As simple as that.
All right. Thank you very much, Augustus Muli. And thank you for joining us tonight. We hope this matter can be resolved as quickly as possible so that the country moves on and starts to prepare for the next elections and what needs to be done. Augustus Muli is the party leader of the National Liberal Party, and he insists the valid candidate representing Azimio interests in the Political Parties Liaison Committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
This is how we put a cap on the interview. Don't go too far. We're coming back with more news. But first, a commercial break.
Star 570 hash. Option 1 kuna PS5 na ni full package na inakuja na JBL Party Box. Hiyo boom experience pia iko.
We have good news for you.
That's how I like. Tulimpata leo around saa 9 hivi asubuhi.
Yes! Yes!
Kaikara does not. He does not forgive easily. What will you have, my dear?
Let me have the good news first.
I got that monster.
How did you get him?
Has your mother told you that Kaikara has all our phones stopped?
What?
Ukajua tu ile mbuka tumechapia dosi usiku kucha. Hakuna kujamaza jama hapo. I don't know whether it's me who's being paranoid, but something does not sound right with this whole situation.
Welcome back. You are watching the Prime Edition. Just before we take business on tonight's episode of Cinemas and Theatre, we review a Kenyan rendition of a play, The Maisa, that delves into the timeless themes of greed, love and societal expectations. The play centers around Husila, a miserly character who, despite his immense wealth, is obsessed with hoarding money. Take a look.
I say, may disease take all Maisas and all their miserly ways.
The Maisa, a new adaptation of Molière's classic play, delves into the timeless themes of greed, love, and societal expectations.
What do you mean? What do you care? What do you tap yourself of what I say? I will swallow myself because I think it is right to do so. And you think I'm thinking about you? I will think what I want to think. What nonsense is this?
This Kenyan rendition, directed by Martin Abuya, centers around Husila, a miserly character who, despite his immense wealth, is obsessed with hoarding money.
It's 10 million. There are things that I will never have to complain that things are difficult. Come on, Father. Everyone knows that you're well off. Hey, well off. Who is well off? I am well enough off.
His desire for material gain leads to a series of comedic and dramatic situations, particularly as he attempts to manipulate his children's love lives for his benefit. Husila's daughter, Elise, is expected to marry a wealthy older man, while his son, Dabo, finds himself torn between love for the impoverished Marion and his father's demands.
And then I will give you to Mr. Omari.
Mr. Omari?
Yes. This is a good man. Huh? What are you saying? This is a man who is as rich as he is good. A man whose wealth is spoken about and sung about in this country and beyond its borders.
No, I will not marry him, Father, if you please.
Oh.
This play is very relatable, especially when it comes to family dynamics. It really talks about the challenges or the struggles that modern-day families are grappling with, whether rich or poor, and how we relate and how they relate to each other. So it brings into perspective how our parents play a big role in their bringing up of their kids, how the decisions they make directly affect their kids, whether positively or negatively.
I swear I can smell Syrian sweat from here. That man.
Director Martin Abuya shares insights into the production process, noting the challenges and triumphs of bringing this classic tale to life on the Kenyan stage. He notes that despite the initial hurdles, the cast and crew have worked diligently to create a compelling and thought-provoking performance.
This took us about 4 weeks to prep for this particular production. It was a bit tight because we had just done another one in late October. That's flight 1963. So it took us about 4 weeks to do this and to put it on stage.
Out here there are different kind of fathers. There is this group of fathers who would rather give up their daughters in marriage for their own interests.
The Maisa offers a humorous exploration of the human condition, reminding audiences of the importance of love, family, and genuine values. Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
And from the cinemas and theatres, we now get into the world of business on Prime Edition tonight. My name is Betty Kiptum. 2 water projects worth billions of shillings are under construction in the North Rift region and will support irrigation as well as sanitation when completed. Among the projects are the Moy's Bridge Matunda Water and Sanitation Project and the Soikos Che Water Supply Project that will support farming activities. Water Cabinet Secretary Eric Mugaa says the water projects would put an additional 3,000 acres under farming. 。  . 。  . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . .
Our greatest hope is that katika serikali ya Dr. William Samoei Ruto, food agenda, Kenya iweze kujitosheleza kwa vyakula vyake. Na hiyo ndio sababu tumepambana kufanya desalination kwa hii damu. Ndiposa watu hapa waweze kuongeza ukulima, kutumia kunyunyuzia maji, kwa sababu rainfall, mvua siku nyingine haitoshi. Lakini water harvesting using these structures, hizi dams, hayo maji yanatumika kulima during the dry period. And that is the hope of the people of Kisii. Lower Sabor irrigation scheme, pale contractor anamalizia kazi, kwa sababu by mwezi wa 4 anafaa kuwa amalizia kazi, ilikuwa phase 2. It's a project that is costing around 208 million. Ilianza 2018. Na tumeenda hata kwa mkulima mmoja ambaye anafanya farming. Ile challenge iko ni kwa sababu wakati jua inakuwa kali sana, yale maji, the source of water, inakuwa shared between watu wa Iten na watu wa hiyo area wakulima. So unapata kuna rationing of water which is not good for horticultural products ambazo zinahitaji maji on a daily basis. To solve that, tuko katika hali ya kutengeneza 2 dams to desilt actually na kurehabilitate other 2 colonial dams, because I understand in Uasin Gishu there are more than 340 colonial dams.
Na ningependa kuwauliza wananchi kesho, Ijumaa, that is on Friday 10th, the president will be there very early in the morning at 9. Let's be there so that we are able to have time and listen also to the agenda of the president. What is very important in such meetings is that the president is able to appreciate all parts of the republic, including backyard here. You know, sometimes we assume that the president coming from Uasin Gishu, everything is okay. But when he gets a little moment to come back here as the president, not as a local as we would want to view, you know, it will be a moment for him to appreciate the needs of the people, across cutting issues like this one now. We have Uasin Gishu here, especially Kisii, we are endowed with several water bodies. We have this Kereta Dam, we have Kisii Dam, which is over 600 acres service of water. We have Lake Narashi hub there in the Timborwa hub scale, in the hub hill, where if those water can be developed by gravity, all these areas will be supplied with water.
Changamoto kubwa ile tuko nayo, waziri, wananchi wetu wanafanya kazi sana kwa mambo ya ukulima na food security, au ndio anahakikisha kwamba tunamaliza hiyo shida tuko nayo, lakini changamoto kubwa ni mambo ya maji. So tukisaidiwa hivi tuletewe miradi katika zile colonial dams, hiyo itaenda a long way kuona kwamba inasaidia wananchi wote wa hapo Uasin Gishu County.
And Kenya is targeting to attract 5 million international visitors annually by 2027, driven by a comprehensive strategy to diversify the offerings to promote the country as a top-tier destination. Tourism Principal Secretary, that is John Ololtua, says key initiatives such as the expansion of the electronic travel authorization system will help to capitalize Kenya's rich tourism potential.
Tourism has shown resilience, rebounding by 34% since the COVID-19 pandemic, according to data from the Ministry of Tourism. In 2024, the country welcomed 2.4 million international visitors, up from 2 million in 2023, with projections pointing to 3 million visitors this year. The Ministry of Tourism believes the Kenya National Tourism Strategy 2025 to 2030 will help the country net about 5 million tourists annually by 2027.
It's very critical in bringing up a roadmap on what needs to be done to be able to transform the tourism sector. So this is just the beginning of the process. We are laying down the roadmap.
This will include the expansion of the electronic travel authorization system to all African countries.
This growth is not just the normal products that we have. Of course, we have the beach and wildlife, but we are also now focusing on MICE tourism. We want to see how we can be able to grow that. We're also focusing on cultural tourism. And we are partnering with the county governments to do a calendar of all the cultural tourism events and how this can be internationalized.
The government is collaborating with the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa and other stakeholders to craft the Kenya National Tourism Strategy 2025 to 2030 that is expected to revitalize the tourism industry.
We are actually very happy to be part of this process to assist Kenya with this initiative, and we believe that Kenya is on the right path.
Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
There is need to step up sensitization on the use of biodigesters in generating energy from wastewater to deepen its adoption across Kenya. This is according to EcoCycle Director Engineer Lucy Wanjiku, who has highlighted the potential of sequencing batch reactor technology to address Kenya's unique wastewater management needs. Engineer Wanjiku, however, says technology should align with the cultural and behavioral patterns of communities that it serves. Kenya Bureau of Standards Finance and Strategy Director Adan Mohamedi underscored the importance of international collaboration in advancing wastewater management practices.
Biodigesters for energy production and advanced on-site wastewater systems, we are making strides in sustainable water management.
And that is all the business news we had for you this evening. Bernardo Kumu is coming up with the latest in the world of sports. My name is Betty Kiptum. Do have yourself a lovely night. Bye-bye.
Here we go. Cheer your favorite team and win big on MeChezoBet.com. Casino, Aviator, and other crash games also available at MeChezoBet. Sign up today. This message has been approved by BCLB license number 664. Gambling can be addictive. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes, indeed, and right time for sports with me, Bernardo Kumu, and begin with soccer where Boniface Mushiri and Rano Gam scored a goal each in the second half to earn Harambee Stars a hard-fought 2-0 win over Tanzania last night in the second game of the Mapinduzi Cup ongoing in Zanzibar. Stars had drawn 1-1 with Burkina Faso in their opening match.
After a goalless first half, Boniface Mushiri put Stars ahead in the 55th minute, and the win was secured 3 minutes from the final whistle when Ogam netted the second goal. It was Stars' first victory of the tournament, having drawn with Burkina Faso in their opening game, and moves them on equal 4 points with the leaders Burkina Faso. Harambee Stars, who are gauging their strength at the Mapinduzi Cup for the Africa Nation Championship in February, will play Zanzibar next on Saturday, a day after Tanzania play Burkina Faso.
Ya Zanzibar. Angalia crossi ya Daniel Sakar.
Meanwhile, Football Kenya Federation has formed a 7-member transition committee entrusted with the responsibility of establishing robust governance structures. The committee will be chaired by FKF Vice President McDonald Mariga, with Women Representative Kerubo Momanyi serving as the deputy chairperson. Among the mandates of the committee is to evaluate existing procedures and policies, identifying areas of improvement, and ensuring the uninterrupted functioning of FKF essential systems and processes.
On Matters Chan, where the winners of the upcoming African Nations Championship are set to reap big after the Confederation of Africa Football CAF increased the prize money by 75%. Now the winners of the 2024 Chan, which is scheduled to be co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, will receive $3.5 million from the initial $2 million. CAF also stated that the total prize money has also been increased by 32% to $10.4 million in a strategy to make the tournament more appealing to the stakeholders. The African Nations Championship is an important competition for the growth of domestic players, with the 8th edition scheduled to start on the 1st to 28th of February this year. 17 countries have already qualified for the tournament, including co-hosts Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda and defending champion Senegal. And meanwhile, the CAF delegation, led by Director of Competition and Events Samson Adamu, completed the inspection of Kenya's facilities earmarked for the 2024 Chan Championship.
I think we await now the final report. This was the final visit before the draw that is expected to be held next week. And after that, then the final preparation for hosting the event will take place.
And to tennis now, where Kenyan tennis star Angelo Kutoi is through to the second round of the W35 ITF Women Only Tour after she beat Switzerland's Katerina Sigurova in an entertaining opening round at the Nairobi club. More than 50 tennis players from 10 nations across the world are taking part in the ITF Women's World Tour.
Angela Okutoi was raring to go in today's match as she aimed to rectify the mistakes that saw her knocked out in the quarter-final round last week against opponent who was also seeking redemption after a first-round exit last week. And she gave as much, capitalizing on all available chances, but Okutoi had everything lined up for her. A set that took a record 1 hour 40 minutes, so Okutoi's a set that took a record 1 hour and 40 minutes, so Okutoi secure a narrow 7-6 win after the tiebreak. There was nothing stopping her after that to secure the second set 6-3 against Katerina to advance to the second round tomorrow, where she will take on China's Yufei Ren in the round of 16. Speaking after the tournament, Okutoi hailed the tournament, saying that it has helped her improve her points as she works towards qualification of the 2028 Olympic Games.
She didn't give me time. I was trying to be aggressive, but she was more offensive, like good one, and she was holding herself pretty well. Good service game, not as strong, but well targeted.
Didn't know it was such a high altitude here, and of course the weather is completely different than Switzerland. But I really enjoyed the sun, and I think the tournament was very well organized.
In other matches, Kenya's Cynthia Wanjala lost to Japan's Arinon Okuaki in 2 straight sets of 6-love, 6-love, as Netherlands' Leon Tran fought hard to overcome Germans' Lorena Sadei.
In singles, I don't have a ranking, and I asked for wildcard because of my improvement and the way I played tennis, and they gave me a wildcard to play in main draw.
Poland's Zuzana Poliwoska beat Tanzania's Shana Martin by 2 straight sets of 6-1, 6-2.
Next round, just maintaining, just enjoying out there. I feel like when I enjoy, I play good tennis, and when I'm pumped up. So yeah, I'll just keep maintaining that and playing the right way, and hopefully come out with a win tomorrow.
The tournament comes to an end this weekend. For Prime Edition Sports, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
And across the field now, where Arsenal coach Mikel Arteta has hailed his team despite the 2-0 home defeat by Newcastle in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg match at the Emirates Stadium last night. Now Arteta faulted fatigue and the ball's grip as the reason behind their defeat. Alexander Isak put Newcastle United ahead in the 37th minute with his 14th goal in 15 games before Anthony Gordon netted a second to leave Arsenal with an uphill task in the second leg in 2 weeks.
Arsenal players in there, plenty of red shirts, headed away, then another Newcastle block, then Martinelli blocked by Tonali, and then Saliba blocked in the middle. Danger here, but Dubravka's got the ball eventually. Dubravka hangs it up, and the big boys try to help it on. It's lifted into the area. Here's Isak, it's into the net. Alexander Isak off the bar and in as Newcastle take the lead in the League Cup semi-final. Now with Murphy, low ball to Isak in the box. Alexander Isak with a shot saved. Anthony Gordon has doubled the advantage. Now the cross takes a deflection. Havertz header. Oh, he's got it all wrong. Kai Havertz at the near post.
That type of performance definitely means that Arsenal need a front man like Isak or Anthony Gordon, because they played, after scoring in the 65th minute, they played the rest of the match without a centre forward or any striker. Anyway, let's move over to the 4 wheels now, where 5-time Dakar Rally champion Nasser Al-Attiyah suffered yet another setback when he lost over half an hour on stage 4, which was won by Yazid Al-Raji after he was forced to replace a wheel after 92 kilometers. He also had to stop after 188 kilometers for extensive repairs. Now Al-Attiyah, who had started the stage in 3rd overall position, dropped to 7th, 33 minutes adrift of Al-Raji and 35 minutes below the overall leader Henk Latigan. In the overall classification, Al-Raji trimmed Latigan's lead to just under 7 minutes, while M-Sport Ford's Matthias Ekstrom moved into the podium position following Al-Attiyah's troubles. M-Sport teammate Mitch Guthrie Jr., who had been said to finish 3rd on the stage edge in order to move into 4th overall, dropped to 6th position after a 5-minute penalty was applied to the American. Well, and that's all from me. Thank you for watching. And Bernardo Kumu, have a good night.
And of course, that puts a cap now on Prime Edition. Thank you very much, Bernardo Kumu, for the sports this where we put a cap on Prime Edition. Of course, have a fantastic week ahead. And of course, a good night. God bless you. See you around.
Christmas ni sahi ishafika na ni kubwa kubwa. Kweli? Hii Kisii ni bomba na Blue Santa kupitia star 570 hash option 1. Rudia. Star 570 hash option 1. Iko PlayStation 5 na 55 inch TV na iko 500,000 Kenyan shillings. Na mbuzi 1 million Kenyan shillings na Samsung S24 Ultra. Na mbuzi moja iko 2 million Kenyan shillings na iPhone 16 Pro Max. Na mbuzi mbili. Blue Santa amekuja na zawadi kibao. Na ni kubwa kubwa. Hapa kuna ndogo ndogo. Hapa Christmas ni bomba.
Daima mimi huwapa langoni na linda.
Hawa wenzako wapeleka wapi watu wasiokuwa na hatia lakini wamemudhi kiongozi wako?
Utakapojaribu kuondoka, utakivunja moyo kisiwa hiki chote.
Kwa nini?
Wewe unaona ni sawa?
Kwani kosa liko wapi?
Umjui bura. Wewe unaona ni mimi na raha kwenye ndoa hili?
Wawezaje kuacha mimi barafu ya moyo wako kaenda kufuatana na kijakazi?
Niko hapa na ukicheza hiyo nafasi unayoringia nitakuhukumu.
Subutu. Hapa ni nyumbani kwangu Karembo. Nitafanya vile ninavyotaka.
Zamani hizo soma katiba mpya utanielewa.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture.
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Fika hapo ni kwa kusign, ni kichukua kama anachukua rims mbili, huwa na sign hapo nimechukua mbili. Lakini
hakuna cha lakini.
Ngoja.
Hakuna cha lakini, asiweke lakini.
Sasa utatufundisha vile tutafanya kazi hapa.
Lakini mimi hapana fanye huko. Hii nayo huwezi kitoa. Hii unajita hata ukondoe macho. Hii huwezi kitoa. Askari. Na kulisha namna hivi. Wewe ni mwalimu hapo?
Umeniita aje?
askari.
Alafu mheshimiwa, wewe naona mimi na sasa heka. Mimi nilikuwa na kijana moja na yeye alikuwa na mitoto tatu.
Ulikuwa na hivyo kitu umeseka. Market hakuna kitu nimeipa na akamalizia thief. Kwa hivyo mheshimiwa, mimi sijaipa.
Here we go. Cheer your favorite team and win big on michezobet.com. Casino, Aviator, and other crash games also available at Michezobet. Sign up today. This message has been approved by BCLB license number 664. Gambling can be addictive. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply.